few weeks ago, I was afforded the amazing opportunity to go and travel to Greece with our LGBT study abroad program. And while there, we had so many amazing experiences. We got to talk to a lot of groups and people about what life is like for them as LGBT people living in Greece. One of the most intriguing conversations for me was one I had with someone about LGBT representation in media. LGBT representation in Greece, just like in America, is a big issue. And so I wanted to look further into the reasons that LGBT people are not getting enough media representation in Greece and compare it to the United States and talk about what that means for both cultures. In Greece, they have something called the NCRTV, which is the Greek National Council for Radio and Television. This is really similar to the American FCC. They impose regulations, they censor things, they have to get approval before things go on television, and they've done some damage when it comes to homophobic and transphobic rulings and situations. The NCRTV has a history of being homophobic and transphobic and has handed out fines and punishments for different programs that have aired LGBT-related content. Now, one of the many reasons that LGBT people are not getting a lot of time in representation is because of the Greek Orthodox Church, which has an incredibly large impact on the runnings of Greek society. Because the Greek government has such a religious influence within it, and they appoint the NCRTV often also has a religious influence. The first gay kiss featured on a Greek TV show was actually in 1999, and it was incredibly tame. In 2003, the Greek television network Mega TV was fined 100,000 euros for airing a scene with two men kissing. In the same year, the NCRTV fined a local radio station for having a gay and lesbian radio show. In 2010, the NCRTV fined a Greek television network called Star Channel for airing two separate episodes of a talk show featuring trans guests. In 2012, a scene featuring two men kissing from the popular TV show Downton Abbey was edited and removed from the original broadcast of that pilot episode. There was a really big uproar about it, and there was a lot of complaints made, so the NCRTV actually decided to re-air the episode with the scene intact, but do it at a different time. In 2013, actually while we were in Greece, the Finland contestant for Eurovision ended her song by kissing another woman. When Finland's performance has been replayed on talk shows discussing Eurovision later, the showing of the kiss has been blurred out almost every time. In the United States, the media regulating entity is called the FCC, which stands for Federal Communications Commission. Like Greece, this is also a government agency, and most of the members are appointed by the president. The FCC doesn't participate in a lot of censoring that we see, because most of their censoring goes on before there is ever an aired product. Because the United States produces a lot of its own television, it is impossible for the viewer to know if it was censored or not before it was aired. Like the NCRTV, the FCC has received a number of complaints for live programming. An example of this would be during the 2009 American Music Awards when singer Adam Lambert kissed one of his fellow bandmates, who happened to be male, in the middle of his performance. A large number of complaints came into the FCC after the performance. In some cases, talk shows that were discussing the event actually blurred the image of the kiss even while they were talking about the kiss happening. There have been many instances where homophobic and transphobic actions have been broadcast on television. Because these images were being broadcast on American TV, an organization was created to help combat these negative LGBT representations. This organization is called GLAAD, the Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation. When any form of media presents a homophobic or transphobic image, GLAAD intervenes and helps educate those involved to help prevent another instance from occurring. While there are still homophobic and transphobic instances in American media, there is a lot of progress being made towards LGBT characters being represented in television shows. Some of the leading networks in LGBT representation in the United States are the CW, ABC, ABC Family, and the Sci-Fi Network. There are also a number of networks that produce reality TV show programming that feature LGBT people. It was much easier for me to find resources on US LGBT representation than in Greece. Part of this is because I am currently in the United States. And part of it is because the conservative nature of Greece prevents LGBT characters from appearing even in progressive shows. It is important that we talk about LGBT representation in the media because television often reflects cultural norms and ideas. In Greece, the lack of LGBT representation reflects the conservative nature of Greek culture and the Greek Orthodox Church. In the United States, television is often helping progress American ideas and values to a higher acceptance of LGBT individuals by using LGBT characters in their programming. Having LGBT representation lets others who don't have access to resources see that there are people like them in the world. And telling stories which contain LGBT individuals is influential in acceptance and progression.